Well, let's now talk about the Boko Haram renewed attacks, and we have joining us here in the studio the security consultant and former Assistant Director, State Security Service, Dennis Amachree. Thank you so much for joining us on the program, and compliments of the season.
Yeah,
We're still in the festive season.
Yeah.
But a very disturbing case that we have seen in the past days, the resurgence of attacks in the northeast.
Yes.
So we would like to ask, what actually is wrong with the strategies being employed by the state security services or the police, the army? Because over time we've seen them come out with different operations to stem the tide of insecurity.
Yeah, well, you know that this period actually is a period where it has been trending for over so many years, whereby during the festive periods, it's very easy for insurgents to, go and do a strike, just to make sure that everybody thinks they are still alive or they are still awake, So they will go out and strike and cause some confusion. And at the same time, of course, I have to commend the military. Of course, what happened in Adamawa State 2 days ago, where they actually routed them and removed the flag that they were hoisting. So it's something. It's not a matter of failure in strategy, but I think they were taking advantage of the festive period.
So you agree that they've been technically defeated?
I have always said that there is nothing like technically defeated, because there is no word like that when you are fighting an insurgency.
So in all of this now, we still face this threat. Now, it has happened this Christmas. We do not know what will happen in the new year. How is it that we are still fighting this insurgents and we have not gotten to a point where we fight them to a standstill and end this war on insurgency once and for all?
I think the thing has escalated, whereby you have the original Boko Haram that we know, growing up, and then, of course, having support from international groups like ISWAP, and of course ISIS fighters who have been disbanded are now also looking for a job now. So you have a lot of them as soldiers of fortune that are fighting right now. So this strategy that we'll be using in Nigeria has taken us 10 years to do, and it's really worrisome. But for now, we have to, of course, give kudos to our military too, because they've been able to hold them back to the northeast. And then, of course, before we used to worry even in Abuja, or even in Lagos. But they've held them back there. And insurgency is not something that you can technically defeat, just like we said earlier, but you can decimate them to a level where they will still operate, but from their different cells.
Okay, now that you've mentioned that the fact that they are now operating as splinter groups in different cells, isn't that worrisome for us? Because as it says, it means that we have a long way to fight. We have a long way to go in this fight against insurgency.
Oh, yeah. There is a long way to fight insurgency, especially when the insurgency is ideological. Even the United States today, since 9/11, 2011, they are still fighting insurgents in the United States, because the terrorists have planted their cells all over the place. And once in a while, you see somebody coming out and then either running a vehicle through people or shooting people, and then thinking that they are part of the old Al-Qaeda. So it's something that we have to. And you see, this fight is not just for the military alone. I think it's also all of us. Because when we see something, we say something, we should be able to eliminate the cells, because those are very, very difficult.
How do we eliminate the cells?
Because by identifying them and taking them out one by one, you cannot take all of them out, but you can take them, you decimate them, and then, of course, if we are in a tolerable level of peace, then of course I think we've won.
If you're talking about identifying them, it's not an easy task. So do you expect the military to invade or infiltrate the ranks to be able to identify these cells?
The intelligence agencies are doing the job of actually infiltrating those cells, infiltrating the organizations themselves. Some of the commanders were recently arrested, and that is because of the intelligence work that is going on. And that's why I said that we also, as Nigerians, you might have some strange guys coming to live next door to you or in an uncompleted building. What are they doing there? Be interested, find out who they are, what they are, and then tell the security
in a community like Lagos where everyone minds their business.
Exactly.
we should stop minding our business and stop minding the business of everybody, because when you're fighting an insurgency, that's the way to go.
All right, Dennis Amachree, thank you very much for talking.
Thank you very much.
Well, joining us is a security consultant and former assistant director, State Security Service, Dennis Amachree. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning.
Now, in all of this, now we have had issues fighting the insurgency over the years. Of course, we've had international support come our way. But how well have we done with the support that has come?
Well, if you look at it, you know, this particular fight cannot just be fought by ourselves, you know, because there is a border situation that we are dealing with, and then there are foreign countries into, you know, also fighting. So they've helped a lot, and I think we've been able to deter them or restrict them to the northeast, basically. We've cut off that movement towards Abuja and even Lagos into the hinterlands, although we still have the situation where they go around like bandits, you know, because those bandits you've been hearing about are actually terrorists, part of Boko Haram, most likely trying to raise money, because these insurgent groups also need money, and they either do it by drug trafficking or they will do it by robbing banks or kidnapping people. So they've done very well, and of course during this Christmas period we expected that even the security agencies knew that it's going to be a very critical moment. So I am very happy that they are deterring them as they continue coming in.
But if you look at before the Christmas season started, a few days ago, we've not really had a lot of attack coming from the northeast, coming from Boko Haram insurgents. But it seems now we're starting to count the numbers. 2 people there, 3 persons there, 48 insurgents also killed in the attack. These are numbers that we're starting to lose count of when it comes to the northeast insurgency. How concerned are you when it comes to the way Boko Haram insurgency has reduced or increased in the last few years?
I would say that it has reduced, but we have to redo our strategy. And of course, the field tactics on how we are handling this thing, because right now they are resorting to guerrilla tactics, whereby they are hitting when they see that the military is either weak or they are in a different place, concentrated in different areas. They will go ahead and make sure that they hit the area and kill as many people as they want. And then, of course, try to make sure that they publicize it. And of course, one thing our own media should also do is to play down on most of their publicity, because what they are looking for is publicity.
All right, Dennis Amachree, security consultant. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Joining us is security consultant and former assistant director, State Security Service, Dennis Amachree. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning.
All right,
Let's look at the budget allocation, budgetary allocation for defense, in, of course, the budget that was just passed by the president. Analysts have said that the defense ministry seems not to be having a lot of funds, or budgetary allocation as the case may be. But how is it that we do not prioritize security here in Nigeria?
Well, it is prioritized. That's why the budget allocation is very high. You know, so when they allocate this budget, remember that there is an ongoing war, actually, because the insurgency is a war itself. And then, of course, you have to fund a lot of things, the men, the troops on the ground, and then, of course, the weapons that they are going to use. In fact, this year we're expecting about some Tucano helicopters that we've purchased next year from the United States. So actually, I don't know how the allocations, the breakdown is, but when I look at the total figure, I know that it must be part of all these problems that we're having in the country.
But if you look at, some persons will say that the insurgents have more firepower than the military. Is that true?
That's not true. They have.
If you look at the gun duel that we saw, you know, in that that clip that we saw, you know, a lot of persons are quick to say that the insurgents actually have more firepower.
No, they
than
don't.
Military.
They don't. They don't. That is what they want us to believe. You know, the Nigerian army is one of the best trained military in Africa here, and they have enough. You know, we have helicopters, we have helicopter gunships, we have all kinds of equipment that these insurgents don't have. But we know that they have been supplying, you know, supplies are coming to them from other countries that are, you know, not part of us. And of course, a lot of sponsors to this terrorism.
Okay.
You know, and I hope that they will investigate to pursue the money and then get whoever is doing this.
Okay, well, how is it that, how will you rate the involvement of our neighbors, Chad, Niger, in this? Because they are also having this issue of insurgency, and we hear that this insurgents come from those neighboring countries. Now, how will you rate their involvement in this fight?
Well, there is a military joint task force where they are members that fight with us. But at the same time, not that the insurgents are coming from those countries. There are insurgents also coming from Nigeria.
Yeah.
You know, so the fundamental issue there is, why are they recruiting so many people? Why are they sustaining? You know, we've been killing a lot of people, a lot of them, but they keep on sustaining by recruiting more and more people. Now, the security agencies have to come up with a strategy of finding out why they are recruiting. I can tell you off my head right now that one of them will be poverty, you know, because many people go in down there and then they say, okay, come in, we're going to pay you some money, and then of course you become a soldier and they will take care of you. And it's an attraction. And then ideological, you know, telling you that we are going to, you know, do this purest form of religion, so come and join us. So these are the, you know, variables that are at play in this particular war that we are fighting.
All right. All right, Dennis Amachree, thank you so much for talking to us on this.
Thank you very much.